All right, and welcome into a Saturday edition of the East County Post Game Show. Dave, we're going to call it the Post Game Show. I think in this one, we just saw moments ago the Christian Patriots win on the road at Linfield Christian, 22-21. A pretty good game, but they were comfortable holding a 9-point lead late when Linfield Christian got their second touchdown. We're trying to hook up with the Patriots after the game, see if we can get some post game from them, but it was a thrilling game, and we'll talk about it when they arrive. I think we're working on them here with Dave here,
Yeah.
but joining us from last night, Dave, we're going to follow up with one of the big stars of East County football yesterday, no doubt about it. Santana High's Caden Hallman yesterday, Dave. 3 touchdowns for Caden. A great game for the Sultans, 20-7 over Canyon Hills. Sounds like we were in charge of the game, Dave. Maybe a little bit too close from what everybody expected. Maybe we were expecting a little bit more. Maybe we'll get down to business with Caden, because there definitely was great defense by the Sultans. And the thing that I want to ask Caden the most, him being a senior, is does he know all these younger Sultans that did a great job on defense? Because the future looks good for the Sultans, maybe this year too, but they are young on defense, and they did a great job last night, Dave. 20-7 over Canyon Hills, and you got the star, Caden Hallman. You got all his numbers and every job that he pulled in that game last night.
Yeah, I just think that to to be able to you were basically carrying them on special teams in 2 forms. I mean, you got the 32-yard punts on average, and then you had those kick returns as well, bringing them in good field position. Mm-hmm. And then, the 3 rushing touchdowns, that just goes without saying. I mean, you couldn't put in a better day at the office.
Yeah.
Now, what would you say? Is there anybody else that you'd like to count in that made that possible for you?
They're already talking about you in the chat. Go ahead, Caden.
I definitely want to shout out my O-line. I got specifically Aiden Dolan. You guys had him on here a week or 2 ago. But I think we started off a little bit slow, and then we slowly started picking it up toward the middle and the end of the game, and we just started picking it up and getting points.
Yeah, Dave, 22 carries, 187 yards on the ground for Caden. Touchdowns in the first, second, and fourth quarter. But Caden, tell me about the big 65-yard run. Was it 7-7 at that time, or was it already 7-0? Tell me the sequence of your touchdowns there, first, second, and fourth quarter. You recall?
Yeah. So in the first quarter, I scored I had a big run, and then I scored I'd say a 3-yard run.
Mm-hmm.
And they came back with that in the second quarter, I think, and they also scored a run. So at that point, it was 7-7. And then I had a big 65-yard run to tie it, or to put us up ahead.
That's when we took the 14-7 lead, and then you had another short run, I think, 5 yards maybe in the fourth quarter there inside the 10 for sure, right?
Yeah, I think it was 7, something like that.
Yeah, and also, Caden, for the team defensively, man, these guys really came through with some big numbers here. Just the bulk of players, they all seem to be underclassmen. Outside of Aiden Thornton, he had 6 solo tackles, but maybe you can tell me about some of these guys. Listen to these, Dave, and tell me if I get these right here, Caden. Cohen Wader, a junior, 8 tackles, 5 of them solo. Junior Xander Bennett, 7 tackles. Junior Maddox, and you might help me, maybe I'll get it right, Maddox Isu. I want to get it right on that one. He had a big interception, 5 solo tackles. Freshman Julian Mayers, Caden, 4 solo tackles, including a sack. Jordan, I think it's Galisi, the junior, had a sack, and also a sophomore Denton Gore, a fumble recovery. Where are the other seniors? These guys look good.
Yeah, we're a really young team. I guess you know that we had, I think, 34 seniors graduate last year. So there's all new kids, but they all have heart, and they all want to put in the effort to get better, and that showed last night.
So
And
maybe go ahead. Yeah, so maybe it is appropriate that I'm not saying that we didn't win convincingly because the way it looks like it on the scorecard, really, in charge like Santana needs to be against this team. So I would think this is still on pace. There's still some room for growing. Caden, tell me also about your backfield mate Wyatt Williams, 33 yards.
Yeah, he's a bowling ball. I mean, he's there when we need him to be on 4th and 1 or 3rd and 3. He's there when we need him to get the short yardage and just tumble through the linemen.
And as far as Canyon Hills is concerned, Caden, what did you see out of them? We know that they were a team that was coming in a little bit shorthanded, but the word was that they had grown. So what was it? I'm not being critical of our victory at all. We held them to 7 points. So do you think they are a little bit improved here? And yes, I'm kind of adding, yes, maybe we are having a little bit of growth to do, but maybe they are improved a little bit. They're a familiar opponent, I think, from last year.
Yeah, we played them last year. Last year, I think we beat them by a little bit more points.
Mm-hmm.
But again, like I said, we're a really young team. I mean, for a lot of the players, it was their first varsity game ever. So I think to go out there and win was pretty good.
Now, Caden, doing okay up there, Dave?
yeah, I'm still trying to get somebody to. It could be pretty noisy on the bus there.
Plenty more for Caden. I just want to make, if you had anything, go ahead and interrupt. But Caden, Dave joked about all the things that you do on this team. You are the punter. You're the return man as well. What other assignments do you have those? Is that the assignments?
I mean, yeah, those are about it. Occasionally, I'll go out there for corner when our defensive coach needs me. But as of right now, yeah, I'm punter, kick returner, running back, of course, and you might see me on some other offensive positions later.
Well, Dave, I always like to say these guys do more than they do on the field. He can do many things around the team and around campus. So tell me about how the offense went, Caden. Looks like you were a bit of a workhorse there in the game. But with the Sultans, I mean, I know we can get things going in the passing game, but I think we were just a few completions. I saw Tanner Stack with 2 receptions lead the team. We only had, I think, 4 completions in the game. Was that because of the fact that we could control the line of scrimmage with Canyon Hills? I would imagine we'll pass a little bit more.
Yeah, I think our main goal was just to go out there and play football to see what we could do. And we also have a really young quarterback. That was his first ever varsity game.
Yeah, tell me about it.
So, yeah, that was his first ever varsity game. And I mean, to go out there and go, I think he went 4 for 9. And he was able to make decisions that, I mean, I haven't seen a Santana quarterback make in a while. He was able to scramble. He got the completions that we needed. And, yeah.
That is interesting, no doubt about it. So, Dave, anything yet from them? And do you have anything for Caden? If not, we're going to channel out with them here. I think I've talked about all the guys that I want to here at this point.
I mean, I pretty much, that was pretty much it. I mean, he was almost a one-man wrecking crew as far as I'm concerned. But I do want to know, was it a little easier for the younger players to settle in, do you think, on the first game than you thought originally?
I actually think it was. I thought it was going to be a little bit worse, but I think it was good going in and me helping them out because I've been on varsity for 3 years now. So I've seen different people in all kinds of levels. So I think it was good for them I mean, I don't want to sound like bragging or anything, but I think it was good for them to have me out there and be able to help them as best I could.
But besides those other seniors we mentioned, I mean,
yeah.
Is there 1 or 2 that we missed that you've noticed in the game that played well? Because, like I said, I was looking at it. and Josh will get it together. I think that's where I blew it. I mentioned Josh Pell, our friend Dave, that we met and did a good job. Sounds like controlling the offense is the way that Caden's putting it there. But Caden Wyatt's a senior. You're a senior. Tanner is a senior. Who else out there? Noah, I guess, huh?
Yeah. Noah Quaylen and Aiden Thornton. And, of course, Aiden. I think those are our key players, our leaders, the people that our other teammates can come to if they need any questions or just need help with anything, really.
And all those guys I mentioned on defense. One guy I didn't mention. Let me look here on the stats here, Dave. If you want to get one or two more questions together, I think I did leave somebody off here actually in the numbers. I did talk about him actually, but Wyatt had 6 total tackles on defense as well. So that is in addition. He's your backfield mate at this point. It sounds like.
Yeah.
All right, Dave. I got some other things to talk about while we can work on getting the Patriots here, but do you have anything more for Caden?
I do. I heard, I think it was Coach Estes was saying it, that if it got out of hand, like you guys got up by too many points, that you guys were going to take your foot off the gas pedal. So you weren't going to try and run up the score if that was going to be the case.
Yeah, it sounds like we're comfortable, but not too comfortable.
I mean, if it were up to me, I would have went out there and scored as many touchdowns as I could. Because, I mean, I don't know. I just think you play till the clock stops running. But.
I think that's just a lot of these old time coaches, these that have been coaching for so long. It's more of I guess they think it's a little classier not to run up the score on the other team, but everybody doesn't drink the same tea. So I mean, you wanted to put more points on the board, why not? And especially to explode like you did first game of the season. I mean, that's incredible. You should be proud of yourself. You should be proud of the Sultans. You guys are starting off on the right foot. You and El Capitan are looking pretty good so far.
I'm excited for that game. That's gonna be a good one.
That's why I mentioned it, because I figured you were.
Yeah, well, maybe I can knock one more off here with Caden, Dave, but maybe you can come up with one more. But I should maybe say the obvious here, Caden. Last year we beat the Sweetwater Red Devils pretty handily, but I think you guys know that we talked about it in the show with them, Dave. We know that Sweetwater got a lot better real fast. And, had a great season after that last year. Kate, you probably remember, you knew we maybe took advantage of them a little bit. Maybe they were a little bit slow to start. That once they get their, that swirling ground game going, if they've got the personnel, they're always going to be pretty good. That's from my perspective. But I imagine you haven't seen too much yet preparation for this week, but the Red Devils, and they did win their first game, and they had a great season after we beat it 34-6. We beat them last year, but they went on to do pretty well after that. Do you remember that? Do you remember that one? And what do you think for next week? They beat Morse, by the way, Dave. Christians in Christians League 31-6. So I think that says to me right there, and I think Caden knows. I mean, that's a pretty good win right there, and they are the home team next week. We're on the road, right, Caden?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So what do you think?
I think, obviously it's going to be a game. We have film on them, and I've seen what they could do. They do run the ball a lot, so I think if our defense could control the run game, and I think we'll be good there. And if we could fix the things that we did bad this game, I think we'll be good for next game on offense.
There'll be a little bit of ball control there, Dave, in that one next week. We'll preview it this week sometime as well, Dave. Anything else, Dave? Caden did a great job here with us, and so did the Sultans.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And that's what I always like about Coach Estes, too, sending me stats. And, he works with us real well. He appreciates the coverage. I know the players appreciate the coverage, and that's why we stay on top of our Sultans. And I like I said, I'm sure that's going to be a barn burner when we get to the El Capitan game. With that being said, I think you're free to go, sir, and we really appreciate you coming on a Saturday night, day after you. But I'm sure you've been relishing in that win a little longer before you have to go back to practice on Monday.
Did you guys meet today at all?
What?
You didn't meet today at all. The team didn't meet today, did they?
Oh, we had film today. That was
Okay.
all.
All right. And we're going to let him go. We got Brady coming in, Dave. Caden, great job. And, as a statistician, Dave, the one thing I love about a performance like Caden, you don't have to keep searching through the numbers there to figure out who the ball carrier was, especially if I hope we don't have those black on purple anymore. I hope, but we probably do. All right, Caden. Thanks a lot. Here come the Patriots, Dave. Thanks, Caden.
Thanks,
All right,
Caden. Appreciate it.
Awesome job, Caden. Great job, Dave. We're on the bus with the Christian High Patriots. Hopefully, Brady can hear me. Dave, let me pop up the score. We watched the game. Brady, how's it going? Can you hear me and Dave?
Uh-oh.
Can you hear
You
me?
watched that game live?
We did.
We were watching, on NFHS. We were watching you guys play for play. Got a little scary around that 2-point conversion. I thought you guys had him when he was throwing the one into the corner. I thought your defender definitely had him, and then that got a little scary. But that's a good thing that you scored the 2-point conversion.
Yeah, that 2-point conversion was a little bit scary, but our receiver Jake Marsh came down with that ball, and it was a clutch play for the team.
It was an incredible catch, actually, of Brady by Jake. It looked like he made a one-handed bobbling catch, but the NFHS camera isn't great. Was it as good as I just described it? I'm talking about the 2-pointer.
Oh yeah, no, that play was definitely electric for sure. I mean, I was kind of scared at first, but I trusted Jake, and then he came down and made a great play.
Yeah, and then Mr. Marsh with the pick as well.
That was a great pick.
You got to give credit to your defense too. They were it got scary at times, but you know what? They showed up at the right time.
Yeah, for sure. Our DBs, we were figuring stuff out. They were throwing new plays that we didn't really know. But towards the end, they were all making plays. I think we had ended that game with 2 picks, and we should have had like 4. But we'll clean it up as the year goes on.
Yeah, who had that pick that was ruled out of bounds? The camera was just missed it. You guys were jumping up and down. Maybe it was close. When he looked up, you guys were there. Tell me about that one.
Yeah, that was Jake Marsh again. Hey, man, that was it.
Wow.
I caught it inbounds, and then, what's up?
So that one that was ruled out of bounds, I know you had a good one, and that one counted, but then you had another pick, and the way that the camera was angled, it looked to us like you had it, but our angle was a little different. Where you definitely stepped out of bounds.
Yeah, man, I was in. I caught it in bounds. It's just I came down and it hit my knee, and then I caught it again out of bounds. So to the refs, that looked out.
So a little juggling act. Oh man! But all in all, could you ask for a better game to open up the season? To have a nail biter like that.
Yeah, Linfield was a good team for sure, and it was definitely a really fun game to be a part of. Just happy we got out of there 1-0.
Got Spencer. Hopefully he's on the other side of the bus. We don't get any feedback, but let's bring him in right now because let's talk about maybe we've got these guys on the bus here, and Spencer's a little louder. Hopefully Brady can still hear me too. And Spencer, I don't even care if I can see as long as you can hear me. I'm just going to go through some of the game here. Oh, maybe just a little loud. That's okay. I got Brady. I will incorporate Spencer in here a little bit.
Hold on. I'll hand the phone to Spencer right now.
That's perfect.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, Spencer, that's your man there handing you the phone. You guys hooked up on that 42-yarder after they jumped out to the
Yeah.
lead. And then, again, the delay there really that got us the second touchdown right there late in the first half. You and I'm talking about the fact that you guys kind of were moving in and out there. Brady comes in, he runs your keeper half the time. Spencer, what's going on? You're letting him run the keeper.
I mean, as a team, we gotta work together and all that kind of stuff. So I don't mind as long as a win's a win. So, I mean, we came out and we balled out. So we're gonna work on the little stuff, and we're just gonna we're gonna keep working, and big plays equal big wins.
Yeah, and you know what? You didn't have. I mean, you had a couple of hankies that were thrown out, but all in all, you did pretty good for a first game. Usually, you want to get the rust out and you get a couple of hankies, but I think you guys did pretty well on the penalty department as well.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's always gonna be a few little things that we need to fix, but getting the first game out of the way and it being a victory, I mean, I can't ask for much more.
Make sure I put the graphic up there wrong because we're on Brady's phone, but we're speaking to Spencer Johnson, the quarterback of the Christian Patriots. Spencer, the 42-yarder to your man Brady that made it 7-6. First play of the second quarter. You get to go over the sidelines. Hey, let's go for it on this one.
Yeah.
Tell me about that. Tell me about that. Let's get a call in there. First play. We've been grinding it out. Here's the funny thing, Spencer, about the way it was going. Right, we know that you guys can put up points, but you guys were very methodical. I thought offensively, almost taking your maximum time on each snap. Was that to keep them off the field, or is it first game? We're just make sure we got everything right, no mistakes.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, it was a little bit of both, but I mean, we're just trying to get everything perfect. You know what I mean?
I think exactly what Ramon's saying is it looked more like a surgical event. I mean, you were precise on what plays you wanted to use, and you weren't doing too much of the run. You weren't doing too many I mean, it was definitely, as he said, methodical. And then the defensive secondary, I'm sure you give them hats off. Also, to really regrouping in the second half in particular.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, our defense really came out. I mean, like offense, there's things that we need to fix, but for a first game, I can't ask for much more from those guys. They flew around. They went 110 effort, 100%. And I mean, we came out. So yeah.
Now, I always have to, because everybody forgets about him. We talked about this in the preview. How about a shout out to your offensive line?
Oh, 100%. My line played a heck of a game. I mean, they protected me on so many things, and I mean, pass or run. I mean, they really balled out. But I mean, they're just such great guys, and I mean, I can't ask for much more.
Yeah, I mean, I know in the second half you were only sacked once, I believe. If that.
Yeah, I believe it was only once.
So you're not buying them gold watches yet, but maybe you'll spring for, I don't know, some Panda Express or something, right?
Oh yeah, we got Chick-fil-A on the bus, so yeah.
Sweet.
We're on the bus with the Christian Patriots here on the East County Postgame Show. We don't have Chick-fil-A, but the Patriots, of course, do, because it's Saturday night. So great job by these guys. Also wanted to, on the last one there, Brady, on Spencer, we needed that first down. We went back to the most famous play in Christian history, the old Utah play. Just flip it up to your cutting man, Brady, and he picks up the 12 or 15 yards that sealed it. We run that play when we need those 12 yards, man.
Yeah, for sure. Always a great play to go to.
That one we've definitely seen that, both Ramon and I, for quite a few years, but you guys will learn to appreciate it too, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, yeah.
All right. You guys are enjoying your Dave. You got it. The only one I want to give a little bit of shout out. I don't know who's around there, Spencer, but the pressure tonight uh, from Tavin and the defense, they really had that quarterback uh, getting chased around most of the night. Maybe
Yeah,
if you
for
want to
sure.
speak to it for me, or if anybody's around, Tavin was
Can
leading
I,
the
do you want me
way
to
for
hand the phone
sure.
to Tavin?
Yeah,
Yeah,
please.
Here, Tavin's right next to me. Here he is.
great job,
Hello.
Spencer. Tavin,
Hey,
are you
what's
still
going on,
chasing?
guys?
Hey, are you still chasing the quarterback around, man? How many times did you get your hands on that guy?
Too many to count, honestly.
That was the big point of the game tonight. I mean, even though, and oh gosh, you got to tell me who was in pursuit. I'm going to give them a little bit of credit, Linfield Christian. We were up by 9, so maybe we were in a little bit of prevent there late. But when they had the 2-point conversion, turned a 3-yard play into a 25-yard 2-pointer, we almost got him, but that was a wild.
Yeah.
We knew he could, if they get it, no big deal. But you guys were after him like a mad dog on that one too.
Oh, yeah. Full on
Yeah,
hog trying to get him.
I thought you had him for sure. I thought you
Oh,
had him
yeah.
for sure, and then somehow he spun out of that one.
Yeah.
But I mean, you missed one. You already had that extra point. Your offense helped you out, and
Yep.
that's
Yeah.
and in the end of it, you played equally as well. And I think the defense especially adjusted in the second half to be even faster and better.
Yeah.
Hey, Tavin, who was in there with you? I saw. Is that Hank that was mad dogging with you a little bit on the pass pursuit?
Yeah, we had our other end spot was kind of a rotation between Hank and Hayden Jeremiah.
Hank
But, yeah,
Houston.
Hank
I
was in
saw
there a
him
lot.
mixing it up a lot. Yeah, go ahead. Tell me
Yeah.
about those guys. Tell me about everybody else.
They put in the work at practice, and it shows in games. And Hank plays real hard. So does Hayden. They have big motors. They continue to the ball through the whistle.
Oh man, it was a great performance today, and I know you guys got a chance to see it. You guys probably passed it around. Did you guys, Dave? I don't want to steal your thunder, but we saw today earlier Hunter send out a shout out after his Montana State Bobcats won against New Mexico. Did you see that video, Tavin? Did the team see it?
Yeah, I saw that.
And he had a 25-yard reception
Yeah.
in that game today, and they were down by 2 touchdowns, and he played a big part, getting a chance to play this year. They lost
Yep.
all their tight ends, Dave, and that was pretty cool. We were going to surprise you guys. We were trying to get Hunter to join us to congratulate you guys live here. It didn't quite work out, but that was pretty cool today. So, hey, awesome job, Tavin, to come through. I think, so to speak, right? I mean, if anything, for Christian to come up with a big defensive effort like this, it says 22-21, man, but it felt like, especially once we had that lead above 8, it felt
Yeah.
like you guys could play a little bit, because they were definitely making you, every time you guys are over pursuing though, Gavin, I'm sure you're going to look at that. They
Yeah.
were pretty good on their screen.
Yeah. Film's gonna really show the fine little issues, but that's with every week, win or loss. You got to work out those little kinks. And
Were you frustrated a little bit when that was happening? But the linebackers were doing a very good job, and the safeties coming up, right?
Yeah.
They didn't get really big gains. A couple times they did.
yeah, you can't beat yourself up too much. You got to move on to the next play. You can't really sit on the last play.
Now, Tavin, did Coach? Is that how you guys were able to see that? Did Coach present that little clip of Hunter wishing you guys well in the game?
Well, it got sent to one of our group chats, so
Okay.
everyone's on there.
Okay, yeah, because one of our sponsors, and of course Jake Davila. Yeah, his dad said he sent him to me, and I said, Ramon, look at this. We gotta show these guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was That was great, no doubt about it. All right, hey, thank you, Tabin. You know what? Brady did us a solid. I want to get one more quote from him. Trying to get him to talk
Got
about
it.
his multi-touchdown game, but he's just too humble. I think.
Okay. Here's Brady. Here's Brady.
All right, you're in charge, Brady. Uh, that's your normal ice pack, right? Nothing to worry about for next week, right?
Nothing to worry about. Just a little bruised.
Dave, I'm trying to get Brady 2 touchdowns, right, Brady?
It was 3, but yeah.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Dave.
Hey,
maybe my screen was buffering there at the end. So, go ahead, Dave.
oh, I was just gonna say, I mean, you get this one out of the way, you enjoy it, and then you start all over again. And any thoughts early on about your next opponent?
It's Bishops, Dave. It's Bishops, but we're at home next Saturday night.
Yeah.
Brady, you know these guys.
What do you,
Yeah, I
what do you
mean,
think?
Bishops is a pretty good team. We know they have a good quarterback, a good passing game. So in practice, we really just got to lock in this week. We celebrate tonight, but I mean, it's back to work on Monday.
Brady, I got to make sure because I know I can get it later. I'm sure we'll have the stats. So let me just get it straight. The Spencer threw a 42-yarder to you. That made it 7-6. Then, well, you don't have to correct this, but I just want to make sure. I want to know what the touchdowns were and make sure I got it right. Then he threw that delay to you right before halftime with just, I think, 2 minutes to go, right? Or no, about 3:30 to go. It was a 25-yard pass. And then tell me about your second half touchdown.
Yeah, I mean, second half, we were in a wildcat formation,
Yep.
and I just got lucky enough. I mean, my line had everybody covered. I really went untouched into the end zone. It was just great blocks all around. I mean, I really didn't do much on that play.
All right, Dave. We were on the bus with the Christian Patriots. We had a band of help me, Brady Eads. We had Spencer Johnson. We had Tabin Sawacki, and we had Jake Marsh too. And if anybody, you know what, Brady, I'm going to vote for Jake as our unheralded player of the game. I think
Unsung hero.
unless you want to throw some others out there, man. Seemed like 10 was in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, Jake had a good game for sure. Big game.
Congratulations to him and all the Patriots. Dave, you did a great job getting these guys together, even if Brady has to tip his head to hear us. You got anything else? We got to let these guys eat their Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, I just congratulations, just like Hunter getting you guys fired up to start off with, and then you guys going up on the bus. It always seems that it takes it away from the team going up that has to travel. But you went up there, you showed up, you had the mindset of we're going to take this game. You took the game, and now you get to go back Monday practice, but you get to enjoy the rest of the night and have some Chick-fil-A as well. It doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah, it really doesn't.
Thanks, Brady. You did a great job. Dave, you did a good job too, but Brady did a great job as we expect from an Eads here. And we're going to do this again,
Yeah.
Dave, on some other wins. Okay, Brady, thank you so much, brother, and thank you to the guys, and thank Coach Bug too for letting us do this. And we don't want to interrupt, but wish we were there hanging out. This looks like a fun trip home, Dave.
We appreciate it. Thanks, Brady,
Yeah,
and
thank you for
tell all the guys thanks a lot. We really appreciate taking your time.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for having me.
Thanks.
Great job, and we'll
Enjoy.
catch them next week. Taking on Bishops, Dave, on Saturday night, and Dave, you're to be commended there for that. That's exactly what we're shooting for, and we want your team to be next. Everybody watching, please, if you want to be a part of this experience, contact Dave. We're going to have some wins on the road. I know it, Dave. In fact, we did yesterday. You might remember Granite Hills Eagles on the road against Mission Hills. And, well, who did we have, Dave? None other than Max Turner, who was one of the biggest stars of San Diego high school football. Not only last night for the season, Dave, right? screen here, Dave. I'm trying to call up Max's interview here. Actually, maybe we can run it again. So pardon me there for that noise. But Dave, Max finished with 206 yards and 3 touchdowns, career highs, touchdowns of 3, 28, and 7 yards. He also had 7 receptions for 26 yards, 35 touches for Max Turner, Dave, and we had him. But what was so cool, we caught up with him on the bus last night, and you watched that Eagles game.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think he was. I'd really like to know if he called his buddy, Mr. Pablo, on the phone after his big win up there in Mission Hills.
Well, that's part of the story right now, Dave. No doubt about it. Looking at it, right now, because the Helix Highlanders did lose last night. But other news today, in addition to the Eagle win, was that the Lincoln Hornets lost to one of the best teams out here by me. They lost to one of the best teams in Nevada, not number 1 Bishop Gorman, but they did lose to the number 2 team, Arborview, 45-44. So Lincoln has a loss right now. And even though it was against a team that will rank very high and still give them a strong power rating, they're going to have a loss here moving forward. So now things are starting to settle up a little bit with those top teams right now. We think that Cathedral Catholic has graduated into the top of the class here, that top 4. But right now, Granite Hills is probably going to pass up Lincoln in a lot of people's polls just because of the loss. I don't know if they're better than them or if they're equal to them or not. But right now, I think Lincoln would think that they were supposed to win that game. Cathedral Catholic rocked Modern Day Catholic. So, Dave, yesterday for the Eagles, Zach Benitez kind of outperformed the Troy Hume, the
Penn State.
Yeah, Zach had 27 for 36 for 229 yards. He'll want back a couple of interceptions, but Mission Hills is a really good team. Your man, Brendan Lewis, 8 receptions for 98 yards. I don't know if I mentioned it, Dave, but, Brendan Lewis actually had missed some practice in the preseason. He attended the Hank Aaron Invitational at Truist Field in Atlanta. It was a week-long preparation where you meet with a lot of legends, a lot of coaching as well. It was an event designed for African-American players, and they had 2 teams play each other in the Atlanta Braves stadium, and Brendan got to be a part of that experience. He had 8 receptions for 98 yards last night. Lathan Fry, we talked about his touchdown reception, how he jumped up and got it. He ended up with 5 catches for 59 yards. But one thing I did see, Dave, from Coach Sanfilippo on X, he was talking about the secondary. He said, you want to get yourself some center fielders that can intercept the ball.
Well, he did exactly that, because how about Trevor Smith having a pick in the end zone for Granite? I think it was with roughly 2 minutes left to go.
Yeah, and Parker Vance also with an interception. I think that's what he's saying. They were able to, circle around it a little bit. So a big win last night for Granite Hills here over Mission Hills. Go ahead, Dave.
Would you say that the Eagles are flying high then, right?
Well, I mean, right now, I do think that even if the power ratings or the pollsters a little bit, I think they are going to ding Lincoln, even though it was a really, really tough game. I know this Arborview here in Las Vegas is pretty good, but still, I think the expectation is you're supposed to win that game is what it feels like to me. So. All right, Dave, I think I have, you don't mind, if I go back to that interview we had. Max was so awesome yesterday. I kind of want to play that interview yesterday with Max, since he really, you had talked about him, Dave, about his game. And, I wanted to talk about the defense a little bit, but looking at these numbers, man, 35 touches, Max definitely, worthy of, all the accolades that he gets. So let me bring this up, give you a chance to catch your breath here, I think, as well.
Maybe Athlete of the Week.
If we have that. Here you, Max. You might not be able to see it, but that doesn't matter. Congratulations on a
sorry,
great.
it's very dark in here.
No problem. No problem. We're going to get everybody to put the light there, turn their phone on you, but as long as you can hear us, that's all we really need. And to tell us about the game tonight. Great job, man, against the
Wow.
Grizzlies, Dave. If you want to lead in, Max, with a question.
Yeah, Max. I mean, was that the whole game plan in the first place? I know we struggled a little bit on some passes and in the receiving end of it, but boy, you just had some major holes and you were just running all over the place. You credit to your offensive line, I'm sure, because they couldn't stop you. You were bulldozing them, or you were going around them, through them. Tell us about that.
Well, nothing would have been possible without my O-line. And yeah, our game plan going into it was definitely like throw the ball a lot more, but that didn't work, so we had to stick to the run game.
And their defense really couldn't they couldn't close those gaps. And I'm sure Coach Cobbs was, after, especially going into the third quarter, it looked like you guys decided that was going to be, in fact, the way to go for the remainder of the game. I'm sure is that what you talked about at halftime?
Well, we didn't really talk about it, but I feel like we knew after the first half because, you know, we were getting at least like 5 yards per play. So why not just keep doing it and, you know, just drive down the field like that?
Hey, Max, I'm sorry, Dave. I just got to tell Max, I'm sure glad you had that late touchdown run, Max, because we got jobbed on a touchdown pass. Obviously, one foot was in. I don't know where you were on the field, but come on, that was a touchdown.
Oh, that was a touchdown by far, man. I don't know what he was looking at.
I think it was the next play or two. It was the next play. You said, I better take this in because that made me mad. I was going to take a picture right off of Mr. Sanders' YouTube and plaster it all over X and say, touchdown.
He had a foot in for sure.
Yeah, and Max, how about Trevor Smith? Do you think that was a huge play at that time? It was 2:21 left in the fourth quarter. Comes up with that big pick in the end of the end zone. I think that pretty much you all thought that sealed the deal. What were you guys thinking?
We're like, oh, yeah, the game's over now. Like, as soon as he got that pick, you know, we just had to get like a first down or something, and we would have been all good.
I noticed the unfortunate thing. I was yelling myself. We had a couple of penalties we probably need to clean up a little bit. Some of them towards the end of the game, you know.
Yeah, but that one, like, he fell. So
I did feel like there was a little bit of North County bias, and I'm not usually that guy. But yes, you are, Ramon.
No, I could definitely feel that right there. They jumped a few times, and I don't know how they couldn't call me.
Yeah, we were watching, and that's why I was yelling at the screen.
Put a real damper, a real bummer on the game when Ratcliffe got hurt there. It looked like snapped his arm or shoulder.
Yeah, nah, I feel bad because like no one wants to go out like that.
Prayers up to Jace and hope he gets better after that. We had a good drive there in the first half, and did we fumble there? What happened?
Ooh, I don't really know because like I was blocking, but like I think the ball got hit out of his arm or something.
Yeah, you remember the play though, huh?
Yes, I remember.
Yeah. Hey, and how about how do you think Benitez looked? I agree with Dave, and maybe the receivers do agree. And that's one area where we've got to gain a little bit of experience. The short passes certainly worked. Brendan was cutting along really good as well, but Lathan looked great on that touchdown reception, didn't he?
Oh yes, man. I don't know how he got up so high. You know, I don't think anyone, like no DB, can stop that.
And to get that touchdown right at that point there, what'd you think of the defense getting to Hune?
Yes.
Yeah. But Benitez outplayed another Division I guy, Max.
Wait, can you run that back?
The defense pressuring Hune, the Penn State guy from Mission Hills, and Benitez outplays another Division I bound quarterback. Even though he's still young, I think Hune's going to get better. But Benitez had the better game, didn't he?
Yes, he did. But like, we got to give our credibility to defense. You know,
yes.
Especially our DBs. They were locking down. They were getting some picks out there. And Parker with the pick at last play.
Yep. That was a fantastic one. That definitely sealed the deal. But it was kind of funny because Smith had already had one. That sealed the deal. That was just a bonus. The last one. And yeah, your secondary played great, but they were really putting your edge rushers were really putting some big time pressure on their quarterback all night.
Yeah, 100%. They were doing great on defense. Wouldn't have been there. Like, we couldn't be in that situation without them.
And then you helped them out, Max. I mean, for you to be and you sped the game up a little bit, especially in the second half. Once you realized what was working and it was going to be pounding the ball, I think that the second half seemed like it went by in like 10 minutes.
Yeah, I just knew I had to keep running the ball and keep getting yards so we could stay in the game.
Now, one thing I want to say, there was and Ramon wrote the article, there was this was one of the biggest games to start off the season for both squads, for you and the Grizzlies. And whoever lost this game, it was going to be a tougher season ahead because they were going to almost have to win the rest of their games in order to qualify for the open division. Now that you guys beat the Grizzlies, that I don't want to say it takes all the pressure off, but it takes a little bit of the pressure off of having to win every single game, which I know that you guys are going to try to do anyway. But this was huge, a very big win.
On the road, Max. That was great.
Yeah, it was a very great win, very good team win for sure. We just got to clean up some stuff, and next week we got to get ready for next week.
Yeah, those penalty flags, I think at the end though are, I think personally were ticky tacky, and I don't know. I wasn't too happy about it myself, but hey, they got a job to do too. But yeah, impressive win. I'm sure Coach Cobbs was proud of all of you, and you definitely were, along with the defense, you were definitely the MVP tonight.
3 TDs, Max. Great job. And Max, hey, did you see any other scores? We will rehash those scores, Dave, certainly. But Max was awesome there with us last night. We're going to rehash the scores right now, as a matter of fact, you and I. So let's get with some of the. Well, if you have anything else on the Eagles, Dave, like I mentioned, and I got a shout out for Zach, because I mean, I didn't realize they had 36 pass attempts, quite frankly. Maybe they were of more of a short nature, but I didn't realize that, especially when you got Max with 35 of the touches.
And it's funny that you say that those 35 touches, those remind me of a Hamamoto type offense. And you remember McClendon, I mean, that was an average was 35 to 40 touches per game.
Yeah, but they were all runs, and this had 7 receptions because Max can do it all. But also, a result of losing, a top back like they did, Pablo to Helix. So, okay, gonna come up here with a few more here, Dave, in preparation for next week's game. But let's talk about right now. We'll keep it right at the top of the board with Mount Miguel over St. Anthony's. We got the numbers in, Dave, for the Matadors. It was A.J. Stowers, 296 yards and 4 touchdowns. A.J. Logan, 184 yards, 2 touchdown receptions. A.J., I want to see you. And Paris Vernon, 3 receptions, 52 yards. And I've got to try it one more time because I botched it so bad yesterday, but I think I'm going to get it right this time. Ezel Buchanan, 4 receptions, 53 yards, including a touchdown. Dave. So Mount Miguel will rise if they didn't have them already. This was a game that they were probably expected to win, and maybe the computers had them a little shortchanged, even as rapid as their growth has been. Maybe this was the expected result, and a result like this would have to catapult them right into the cusp of the open division, whether it's 4, 5, 6, right in there somewhere. I think that's where most people are going to have Mount Miguel at this point. Oh, by the way, freshman score 48-0 over LCC. So it's all good in the Valley.
And I'll tell you, you were saying AJ, but how about an AJ shellacking as far as Mount Miguel was concerned?
Oh man, I'll tell you, just a strong, strong performance, no doubt, by the Matadors. So, you can set the bar high if you want, but to them, I don't think they're surprised, and quite frankly, I don't know if I am either. I think my affinity for the program right now is pretty noticeable, and I'm a believer, and I love it. Quite
Well,
frankly,
and I mentioned it last night. The not only is the coaches are flocking there as well as the kids. So
you know
I think
what? Go ahead.
this Mount McGill team is going to be building a championship team for more than 1 year. I think they're going to be on top for a while.
Well, I said it. I think as long as Coach Patafi is in charge, and again, I will say this: though, I want more. I want more fans at Mount Miguel. They should be. They're a county attraction, man. They're right up there with the Hornets, as well. And you look at the other great teams there. I mean, Carlsbad. It's like going to a college game when you go to their games. Cathedral. We know with all the great programs that they've had, and they're right back there too. Right now, I'm gonna, Granite Hills.
You go to Granite Hills and the place is, it looks like it's sold out every game that they play. People are standing room only.
Yeah, and I'm not calling out the fans there, but the Mount Miguel Matadors are a football attraction, and quite frankly, I think the crowds can be bigger down there, and I think they will now. I think last year in the lower division, but forget it. Right now, I'll just throw the 4 teams. I mean, you got to have Granite there. The Cathedral is back in there. I think doubling up on Mater Dei, even though Mater Dei might be on a downtrend a little bit with their changes that are going on. They're still a good program, but you're still going to have Lincoln right there, maybe still top 4, but they're going to have to fight back in with someone in there. And of course, the other team would be, Mount Miguel at this point. So anybody else have any suggestions? Let me know in the chat. I'll move on. And one team that will not be there, got to be honest with myself here, Dave, the Helix Highlanders, but our friend Lee Norman Lester, 228 yards of total offense, including a pair of touchdown passes. I described Lester's play yesterday on the show, Dave. He was, as advertised, spectacular, quite frankly. Whether or not it was by design or by escape, Lester was moving around quite anxiously, a little bit scrambling, running, throwing. He does have a very, very strong arm on the run, and he did hit a couple of nice passes, but the Helix defense was just having some problems in this game, Dave. 49-20 last week.
Well, let's just remember, 4 years ago, Jesse, he started off pretty slow himself, and I think he progressed by every game that he played and year by year, and then look where he ends up after he's done with his career at Helix High School.
And when we talk, I think admittedly they did feel like they were a little bit young in some positions, so maybe there will be some growing, and maybe El Camino, maybe they are, they're a top 10 teams for sure right now, and moving up higher here, maybe even as high as 8 or 7 here in some people's minds at this point. So let's go talk about a winner here at this point. How about the Steel Canyon Cougars? Impressive. Every time you go into Ramona and can pull off a win, and 51 points. That's how we like to see it at Steel Canyon. It was John Weaver. You're gonna be hearing about John all season. He was, about on the cusp last year. 203 yards, 19 carries, and a touchdown. Big play man Nico Yara, 169 yards. 61-yard touchdown run for the big play man, Nico Jara. Also, quarterback Gavin Kaha, 10 of 15 for 169 yards, 2 touchdowns. And we did get, the fumble. I talked about the defensive. They were already up there, Dave, and actually Ramona ended up getting another touchdown late, but it was Jamison Sablon. We got another Sablon at Steel Canyon doing things. 23-yard fumble return, Steel Canyon.
It also makes you wonder a little bit. They played Ramona. Well, the last time I saw them play Ramona was back in the Fishburne days, and that was for finals, and I think that this Ramona team is probably down a little bit too. Not to take anything away from the Steel Canyon Cougars, but I think that it's not the typical Ramona team that they have been in the past.
All right. Oh, I want to mention Helix will play at home against St. Francis, an Invader coming in next week as their matchup here. So we'll just call out a few of these matchups, especially. Oh, also, by the way, Santana and Sweetwater Dave will be on Thursday this week. The Steel Canyon will play a familiar foe, a familiar non-conference team they play pretty much every year, the Madison Warhawks. So Madison lost their first game here, so we will see there. And also for Granite Hills, they will play Mater Dei Catholic, which, as I said, lost to Cathedral. I want to say it was 53-26, 52-26. I'm sorry, I don't have it exactly, but they pretty much doubled up the score on Mater Dei Catholic. So that'll be Granite Hills. That's one of the big games next week, Dave. Granite Hills at Mater Dei Catholic.
Well, and that's what's interesting about that, isn't that the coach from Mount McGill, that's his former team. But you know what? I think that Coach Cobbs and the entire coaching staff, the entire team, after they did what they did with the Grizzlies on the road, I think they welcome them to come in and play them.
Dave, next week, the Grossmont Foothillers. We were on the air. I don't know. Did the game end yet? I don't know, but we did see the game finally come to an end. And yeah, I think we got the score right in the end, Dave. I am going to put it on the screen here. Yes, we probably should. It was still pretty cool to be involved in such a. I don't know how. I'm trying to be nice here, Dave. And
well,
I hope hear me
Anthony Lawrence
on the phone.
I had to call in Coach Lawrence, and he was just ready to look over for us too, and we were going through our scores, and he said, "Oh, they just turned it off." But he said, "I'm
feeling you knew the score, Dave."
99% sure. So, but it just. That's a basketball score.
It is, and it is not the record. Remember, I touted it when I said on the air, we're going to set a record here, but Grossmont actually stopped scoring. So, look, a little bit of a different approach, right? I mean, I'm not going to tell Coach how to do it. Let me just give the stats before we got to, can't give those points, especially after how many points we gave up in the championship. Look, there's one way to play the game. He knows it. So let's talk about the good things. So, certainly Tommy Donovan, the starter of the Grossmont Foothillers, Dave, 442 yards, 6 touchdowns in the game, 5 picks. We're going to say it, Tommy. But look, with that many attempts and, you're down, just keep slinging it, brother, because we are going to win plenty of games doing it with this method. Dave, how about Noah Walker, 15 receptions, 228 yards, 3 touchdowns. Parker Vandenberg, he's no slouch, but he only had 8 receptions and 130 yards and 2 touchdowns. And we described it. The Hillers were in this game for the most part. They led early in this game at parts, but also shout out our buddies over in San Carlos, Cody Capoletti, 6 touchdowns on the day, I believe 4 rushing, 2 receiving, and Eli Ruiz, probably one of the better quarterbacks in the county for sure, 309 yards and 6 touchdowns. Dave, I just want to say it. I found somebody I can talk about on defense for Grossmont. I don't know if I ever talk about anybody on defense, but I want to say this man's name, and he had a pair of sacks. Max Tufu Gafale. Max Tufu Gafale. Max Tufu Gafale. I'm going to say it right there. I think that one might be it. I want to shout out Max, 2 sacks. Good job, Max. And we'll get better, Dave. The Foothillers can. I did say in the story it would be the highest scoring game of the weekend. I got that right.
Now, you did mention, too, Matthew Rojas, a big contributor on special teams as well.
Great. Yeah, thanks on that. I know we did hear from Coach Lawrence, like I said, I'm kidding you. I hope he didn't hear me talking about, when you were doing your voice chat with him on the phone yesterday night. But look, they know what happened out there, no doubt. Lawrence said that fatigue hurt us, and the offense gave them some short fields. We did not pressure the quarterback enough. So I think that's mostly what Anthony was saying there in that one. Said need to play harder and more disciplined, but he did shout out those players that I mentioned, as well as Tyler Holmes too. Remember, I mentioned him yesterday with that other big play. So okay, great job, no problem, Foothillers. We got your back. And look, they were in the championship game, right? So they'll be back.
Well,
All right.
it's always a pleasure anyway to talk to Anthony Lawrence. I mean, shoot. I'll bring it up again. I talked to him. He was my first story, my first interview, and
okay.
Here we are back. And he's coaching and still giving out great quotes. And I mean, he summed it up pretty well. I mean, they just need to put more pressure as far as defense is concerned. But I think offensively, I think they're gonna, like you said, they're just gonna get better. It's just a matter of time.
Thanks to, we got a nice crowd in here, Dave. We got a few dozen for sure in here watching us live. So hey, if there's anything you want to see from us here on the show, you can type it in the chat either on Facebook or YouTube, and we'll see your comments here. We'll put them on the screen as well. You want to come on the show? Let us know. We'll send you a link. You can come on today, tomorrow, the next day, after the game, before the game. This is what we're doing to keep you abreast on East County sports. Okay, Dave, I got to make a correction, Dave. I guess Hamilton did score. Maybe it was one of those where the lights were out. The Mountain will not be a shutout, but we mentioned Cameron Will. I'm going to go with the report. I'm going to try to get more information on the game here for Mountain Empire, but it looks like it was a victory. Really, it's all I have on that game against Hamilton here.
So we don't know if that 8 was a touchdown and a two-point conversion.
I'm going with touchdown by Cameron Will, followed by a conversion.
Okay.
I feel pretty good about that.
Okay.
But here's the thing. Maybe the roster is wrong, right? Because there was a player named Cameron Will, I thought, a couple of years ago. Maybe
he was
let me just say it was a touchdown by – I better just go back and call it a touchdown by Mountain Empire.
Because he was with the team for quite a while.
Okay. Maybe they were just using an old – you know how the Max Preps is, you guys. So Make sure you update that. Let's just call it Mountain Empire victory here. I know one team we know the guys on for sure, Dave. It was a rough one here for West Hills. They did lose at Imperial. Again, like I described, Dave, back in a few years ago out of the pandemic, they went to Imperial and lost 21-3. So, a team like West Hills, especially with a little bit of rebuilding, they're going to be just fine. I just know when I get my stats update from Coach Ash at 5:30 in the morning, he didn't get a good night's sleep. Maybe I don't know. Here, 21-6. I have on the screen. I believe it may have ended up 20. I think a new report. I don't want to get it wrong. It might be 28-6. Let me at least, Dave, talk about a couple of these in the game. They did have a big fourth down stop in the first half. I did see highlights of the game here. I don't know if I might show the highlights of the game actually here, Dave. Do you have anything to say about West Hills? I'm going to try to call this up.
Well, I tried to get Joey to come on the show, but we understand why he really didn't. I mean, they got to digest that one and get back to work on Monday.
Yeah, they definitely had their work cut out for them there in that one, Dave. So let me see. I don't know if I'll be able to do this fast enough. We don't have enough on the game necessarily, but nonetheless, West Hills did have their moments. As I said, they had a fourth down stop where they converged on the Imperial quarterback and were able to take possession. But West Hills then allowed a turnover on a punt inside the 5-yard line, and then it was followed up there, Dave, with a touchdown by Imperial. So I'll move on. I don't know if I'm quite as adept as I used to be trying to call this stuff up. So I was hoping to get you these highlights here, Dave, from out. I think okay. If you're ready for I think I do have it here. Maybe
Roll 'em.
I don't know. All right, I'm just going to move on. I can't produce our show fast enough here, Dave. I'm going to move on to another game. How about?
Sounds good.
Huh?
Sounds good. Let's do it.
Okay. No, I'm going to just take up everybody's time because also, you know what? We've also got some highlights from Monta Vista and our man, Rashawn Florence. So we're going to try to show this here, I think. And there is a highlight of it, of these games here. And I'm not too worried about any kind of copyright strikes on us. We don't have enough subscribers here. So let me bring these fellas up here and we can get to our teams here. I know they are coming in. There's West Hills right here. Let's take a look at the highlights here from West Hills taking on Imperial here. Take a look at the Wolfpack. Looking good here. I don't know if I can narrate these highlights, but Imperial here with the Gainer against the Pack. Looks this is going to be a touchdown, I believe, right here on a run. I believe this gentleman may have had 2 touchdowns in the game. Now here comes the Pack with Joey. Watch this run by Joe here. Pretty good run. Moving ahead here, excited at this point, probably early in the game. Joe pretty excited. And then look, he drops the ball here, but is able to scramble and get some big time yardage here for the Tigers.
Wow.
And then I think we're getting another score here. 7-0 with about midway through the set. Oh, that's the 4th down stop right there. So should get in there. Number 50 I saw number 8 in there for West Hills. I should have the roster there and help me. I could be a little bit better on this, but that's the play where West Hills actually the punter got hit pretty hard, and then they get a touchdown right after that here on a short pass. So Imperial was able to knock off. There it is, 28-6, and they have people on site there. So next up, Monta Vista taking on Vincent Memorial, and they've got a Wong now at quarterback. Here's Rashawn here. They're going to show that's after his interception, but we're going to see it right here. Rashawn Florence. He's going to intercept this pass by the coach's son here, Wong, and a great interception here by Rashawn. And a little bit of celebration. So I think the Monarchs are probably feeling it here. It's daytime still, so it's early in the game. Here, the Monarchs fumble the ball, and then they're going to be able to turn this into points. They fall right on the ball. I believe that's a touchdown right there for Vincent Memorial. They fell on it right in the end zone. So unfortunate break right there. If you're the Monarchs, you can't have that right now, especially the way they got to run their offense. So Vincent Memorial still a pretty good team, and here they come around. And look, I think we got to stop here by the Monarch defense. Great job, guys. And also here's a touchdown run by the Scots, getting in the end zone there. Rashawn pushes them down, but Scots in front here, Dave, and they went on for the win, 21-0 over our Monarchs in the desert.
I wanted to add, I got a text from Kasim Conley, and the first one was my time about two o'clock in the morning, just saying sorry I fell asleep on the bus, and then after that he did like you mentioned before, he'd be a great correspondent for the team and to speak on behalf of them anytime. He said it just like it is. To be completely honest with us, the weather had nothing to do with yesterday's loss. I thought, because of maybe some heat exhaustion. And he said it was just a lot of simple turnovers, shot themselves in the foot in the first half with 3 turnovers, and overall just not taking care of the ball very well, and it ended up costing them the game. We're stacked defensively. It's just the offensive side of the ball is what we need to be concerned about the most, because we struggled getting the ball moving downfield. Vincent Memorial completely changed their scheme from last year's team and running the ball excessively, and we expected to be more open to the run and gun flow, but nothing we can't fix. So I have a lot of problems and holes offensively and defensively we need to work on.
Perfect. 'Cause
Like
next week-
a true correspondent and almost like a coach.
No, that was ideal because the Monta Vista Monarchs are going to play the Kearney Comets next week on the road in a game that I think Monta Vista, I'm not worried about going out there playing Vincent Memorial. That's a pretty tough game. And even if Vincent Memorial did, lose their all-world quarterback from last year, you got the coach's son in there, so no problem. They'll play Kearney next week. Grossmont, we mentioned them, Dave. They're going to play Olympian. I have a feeling they won't give up 77 points to Olympian, but they're going to.
Oh no!
But they're, it's still going to be a pretty, a good game, a tough game. Valhalla, we did get the final for them, Dave. Was 28-0 against Classical. They were sacked 4 times and also threw a couple of interceptions. But Valhalla will play at Mar Vista this week, Dave, and I would imagine that could be a evenly rated competitive game.
I would think so. I just hope that they've fixed that field since the last time I was on it. Several times when the Sultans went down there on a regular basis, boy, there's pits all over that field, and I'm hoping that they redid that field just for injury purposes.
Mount Miguel will be hosting Rancho Buena Vista. Look out, Longhorns. Could be a long night for the Longhorns. Might want to bring some steer burgers and enjoy down there and get out there and see the Matadors, you guys. This is a real event happening down here, I promise you. West Hills is going to play University City, Dave. Not an easy opponent, but you're at home. You're probably going to expect to want to beat University City. That program's had some modest success of late, so I don't think it's I've not put it in the win column blindly here for West Hills. I'll break it down later this week.
Well, I'll tell you what, West Hills, you're talking about crowds earlier, and over at Mount Miguel, we should have a little bit bigger crowd, but I will tell you what, no matter what, West Hills fills the stands just about every game that they have at home. So I almost give them the advantage. And then how about the advantage of the Smurf field as well? I think that they can very well win that game and bounce back. It didn't appear that they played horribly. I think it looks like they lost to a team that was just better. That's all.
El Capitan is going to host Scripps Ranch. I saw El Capitan just a couple of years ago play a ground-oriented Scripps Ranch team in a game that I thought El Capitan probably expected to win, that they were supposed to be careful, however, and Scripps Ranch really ended up doing a pretty big number on them. Maybe that might have been RBV, actually. But nonetheless, Scripps Ranch is probably going to have a higher power rating here than El Cap coming in. But with El Cap at home, as well as they've played, here I may have blown that one a little bit there, Dave. But nonetheless, this is going to be a good game because Gardnera comes in with Scripps Ranch. Definitely higher power rated, but El Cap at home. You have anything comment on the Vaqueros at this point? I know we've already talked. I wasn't going to recap them anymore because I think we pretty much, with the Thursday, Friday, we talked about them.
I just think if you got Brant Barker behind your center, I think you got a chance to win the ball game. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, when Barker, pretty strong game there, no doubt, in the last one. Like I said, we've kind of talked El Cap into the ground a little bit, but nonetheless, real strong performance. I remember that one was back on Thursday. Of course, I still can't get over the big play in that game, though. That's one thing I will describe again, when Lucas Garcia forced the fumble and it bounced up into the air, and I'm sure Bruin Ford was like, how did this maybe it was, looked to me, it was tough. I'm watching it on the automatic camera, but it looked like either as the strip happened, the ball was either kicked up by the defender or maybe the tackling, and it bounced up and into the waiting arms. And Bruin Ford, shout out Bruin's parents. Great job, Bruin, on that big, long touchdown run. Mountain Empire, they will host Southwest San Diego. That should be a pretty okay game for sure. Helix, as I said, hosts St. Francis. I think that's all the Friday matchups, Dave, and that's about all I've got. As far as new stats and everything, we'll uncover some new things for the previews. Of course, we talked about Christian. They'll play Bishops. That game is next Saturday. Also, El Cajon Valley plays on Saturday, and they'll play at Classical. It's going to be a pretty tough game for El Cajon Valley. But Bishops at Christian. Now, Bishops is power rated higher than Christian, but Christian's at home. They looked absolutely terrific. These are familiar opponents, obviously, over the years with one another. Saturday night is going to be a good game at home. Granite Hills, you know what I mean. Bishops at Christian next Saturday night.
I definitely think that would be a great game if you're not doing anything else special. Definitely go down there and support your Patriots, and I think they'll give you a great ball game, and they might even take that one home and knock off Bishops.
All right. Well, we'll talk about it next week. Thank you, Dave. Great job. You were a big star today getting the Patriots on the bus. You can get us out of here.
All right. What a week of football and great action, and our newest segment on the bus. And we hope to continue with that and catch the victor at the end of it, and could be your team next week. And for Ramon Scott, I'm Dave Dickens. Thank you for joining us.